understanding that we've broken down step by step as our routine to help students think about this content. So in the summary, we're looking at understanding the similarities and differences between the two concepts. We can explain how the concepts are alike and how they're different, and we have terms to talk about those things with, right? We can also explain how the concepts are alike and different from terms related to both characteristics and categories. And then we can also raise questions and or list insights that we've had throughout the process. And this is all goes into that sort of summary statement. Again, the comparison routine is a routine that helps provide, through this comparison table, a way to think about two concepts, and it walks the student through, very explicitly, walks us through and through the understanding of those concepts. Let's look at another one, and this is one we're going to do in class as well. This is the concept mastery routine, and it's represented through the concept diagram. Again, another KU-CRL tool here. And this is a completed one. And in this, you can see the different sort of steps, right? You can see that there we identify the concept that we're talking about. We offer the overall concept and subconcept. We list the key words. And we go through all these steps again related to showing the relationship amongst these things. Just a different way to do it. Let's take a look at one of these. So let's look at one specifically, and this is what a blank one looks like. Again, you'll receive this. Let's look at one that looks at the Civil War, right? Let's look at the Civil War. Specifically, we are looking at the Civil War as a concept we're diving into. The overarching concept is armed conflict, right? Within the Civil War, we're saying, okay, what are key words associated with the Civil War? And the key words represent the prior knowledge that we have. So we have prior knowledge around the Civil War, as well as prior knowledge that we can kind of go through and say, okay, here are the different things that we know. And you'll note the underlines and the circles. The underlines and the circles demonstrate where they're going to fit in later in the process, right? In the process. This is hierarchical by nature, so it's showing here in step one what we would actually do is complete the understanding of the Civil War, and number two, it's an armed conflict, and then we're taking this notion of these key words and putting them and embedding them throughout, and this is how it works. We're going to look at what's always present. So when we talk about the Civil War and we talk about armed conflict, what's always present? Well, what's always present is we have groups of citizens. Civil War, we're talking about a single nation, right? And then we have, it's about distribution of power. Sometimes present is, it's an economic, it's driven, could be driven by economics, religious reasons, ethnic reasons, social reasons, political reasons. And then it's never present because we're looking at the Civil War now. It's between nations. If we're looking at Civil War, it's most of the time Civil Wars are it's within the nation, especially the U.S. Civil War, right? So this is showing you how we can actually deep dive on a concept, on a single concept. We're going deeply on a concept, on a single concept being here, the Civil War. Now, step 5, what we're doing is looking at the different examples and providing examples for those things that we know. For instance, where civil wars have taken place. We also have non-examples. So we have the examples on the left side and non-examples on the right side. And we can say, okay, Civil War, what do we know about Civil War? Civil War is, an example of the Civil War is obviously in the U.S. We have Civil War in Northern Ireland. We have the 1990s crisis in the Balkans. What are some non-examples? Non-examples, we have World War I, World War II, Desert Storm. These are all things that are non-examples. After doing that, we can get into tearing it down and kind of writing this definition so that we have a deep understanding of a concept. Again, it's showing a deep understanding of a concept. Having the students show that they know something, providing you an ability to teach a deep concept by scaffolding on those things that they already know and explicitly teaching those things that separate and give them deeper understanding of a concept. So let's look at those critical considerations again. Does simply doing a graphic organizer provide for learning? Why or why not? No, not necessarily. Like anything else, students must be actively engaged in the process of doing it. They must be actively engaged, and they must be provided some initial understanding for the purpose and meaning of doing it. So these organizers in and of themselves do not teach them anything without being explicitly explained what they're actually completing and how they're completing it and why they're completing it, and then embedding within them an understanding of the relationships that these organizers, these very complex organizers, are pulling out. This is the same with any other type of organizer you might use in your classroom. Another critical consideration. What do graphic organizers do to support learning? They visually connect content and information in a purposeful manner. That's critical. They're purposeful by nature. Whether it's a graphic organizer or something that you've created or something that students have created, they should be connecting information in a very purposeful manner. They should provide students a means to visually connect known information with new information. They should allow for that scaffolding to take place. They give a student a way to learn more deeply because they are manipulating the content in a way that is either meaningful to them or in a way that is explicitly teaching them the differences and the similarities and differences, etc., of the concept. And it has an explicit focus on the needed information. Again, we have focused in on what is exactly needed to understand this concept. The final consideration: how might you effectively integrate organizers and routines into your day-to-day practice? They must be explicitly built into your instruction and learning. That's a well duh, right? But you need to make time for them. You need to actually build them, and you think you look at them and you're able to do them fairly quickly, and you're a college student. I'm going to tell you, when you get down and working with your students, they're not going to go as quickly. There's a case study that's provided for you that's going to show you how they actually work in a classroom situation that you're going to see right when you're done with this video. Students should be supported in these routines for helping them think about the interaction in that content and the concepts that you're teaching. And then to support student understanding, learners must be taught how to both grasp and demonstrate the meaning. They must be taught how to grasp and demonstrate the meaning of the organizers and routines. In summary, graphic organizers and routines help people understand information if done appropriately. They should focus on the essential elements as well as provide students a way to scaffold the new learning onto something they already know. Organizers and routines should be explicitly taught, and the comparison routine and concept mastery routine, which we briefly covered in this video, were developed by KU CRL, and they've been proven over and over again through research to provide a way to support an understanding of concepts, very, very deep concepts, and support learners of all ages and learners that are both struggling and high performers in understanding these concepts. So this provides you an understanding of teaching concepts.